Welcome to the last video in this three-part video series on the comprehensive red-blue guide to menuing. I'm going to cover instant text in this video, and instant text is a very special case of menuing. There's a lot of weird things about instant text that sort of apply the rest of the rules in menuing, but sort of not. It's very weird. You will see what I go over in a bit. As a reminder, if you enjoy the video, do like the video and subscribe to the channel. Those help out a lot. Additionally, comment if there's anything that you have questions about. So in this video, I'm going to be going through lots of instant text stuff. I will lean on you having knowledge of the previous two videos, so if there's ever something you're confused about, and hopefully it's covered in there, but if not, please do let me know. The very last type of buffering that I want to talk about is instant text. Instant text is a glitch that typically in a run, you can get it through a couple of ways in some glitch runs, but typically in a any percent glitchless run, you will get it by talking to this biker, and then when you press B, it just gives you instant text. In instant text, there are a couple of weird features. Firstly, any text menu is going to clear immediately. So every single text menu that I do is going to clear immediately. So I'm going to walk into this battle, and let me save state before this. When I walk into this battle, you'll notice that the text pops up immediately. So it doesn't load, it just pops up immediately here. And that means that, of course, this is very, very fast. But the way that menuing works is very, 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 very different when instant text is active. Firstly, if you open any item menu in any instance, you lose your instant text. So opening an item menu is very ill-advised, and you probably know this if you've done any running of the instant text. So if I press start, or actually if you just press start all, if you open any menu. So if I press start there, I'm going to go and do the exact same thing. Now note that I no longer have instant text. It's loading like it normally would, so I've lost after that. So maintaining instant text, you want to do that. Another thing is that in instant text, you want to be alternating your presses. So alternating presses between B and A is going to be the way to go. And the reason for that is that in instant text, if you're holding a button that you have not just pressed, it will apply that button press to, like, the rest of a turn. Like, it'll apply it through space and time. And so what I mean by that is that if I press B here and then switch to A, it immediately applied that A press to the next thing that appeared. So now I can switch to B, A, B, A, B, A, to keep applying it. Here, by the way, is a big spot in instant text. Clearing that last text box with B way, way faster than clearing it with A. Let me demonstrate that really quick. So I'm going to go A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B there. And you notice that with B, that text box cleared immediately. With A, it wouldn't clear when I was holding down A. So those are the main concepts for that, is that you want to alternate between your presses. Additionally, you really don't want to mash. Mashing is really, really bad, because if you mash, you're going to lose track of your A-B presses. There are some spots where if you mash, it's fine, but if you mash, you just have to accept that you're not going to be buffering at all for the duration that you're mashing. You're just sort of mashing through it, and mashing can be relatively fast in this section, but so instant text is like a pretty advanced thing, I think, to try and buffer, but it's a couple of these are very important to be good at with instant text. In instant text, when you have a trainer that approaches you, as long as you're not mashing, and what I mean by that is that here, if you mash into the battle text, this tends to screw this up. But if you clear this with B, so like, let's say I clear this with some text, whatever happens in the battle, right, so this battle animation is going to happen. If I hold B here, it immediately is going to buffer this menu press. But this only works with trainers that approach and come up to you. So a trainer that you run into normally somewhere else, so if you were to walk up to a trainer and say hi to them in battle, this buffer doesn't work. It only works on trainers that come up to you. The trainers that this counts are, it counts the rival battles, it counts it whenever a trainer, basically if a trainer has an exclamation mark and they would walk towards you, it also counts like this. So like for the rocket grunt, for the last fight on this bridge, so there's a bunch of places where it counts, but any trainer that's walking towards you, if you are not mashing and you can press B during that and hold B, it will buffer that B press on the menu clear, and that's going to be very important for the next buffer that I'm going to talk about. So notice that if I talk to this trainer, then if I hold B in this fight, it won't buffer. So if I hold B here, B button's not going to buffer, because the trainer didn't come talk to us. For buffering attacks, there's a very specific note, which is that buffering attacks only works if your last button press was a B. So normally to buffer attacks, right, you want to press A when the other Pokemon's coming out, and that only works in instant text if your last button press was a B. So it's very important at the start of the battle to clear this text box with B. So what we're gonna do is that, well, we get the buffer for this, so we may not be able to clear it with B, but we're gonna clear it with B. Now if I press A, it's gonna immediately buffer because I had pressed B in the previous text box. If we had not pressed B in that previous text box, so say that I'm just like mashing through, I'm just gonna press A on this text box as it appears, then my A buffer, you'll see, is not gonna work. Things only work in instant text if you're alternating. So now I press A, I just pressed A, uh-oh, I don't get a buffer because the previous press was A. You want to alternate between A and B. So I would have to press A again and then do that. And then from here, you can't buffer your attacks. You have to scroll down, select your attack. When you attack, I said that if you have the opposite button press that you just pressed between A and B, so if you're alternating between A and B, the button press that you hold will hit the next text box through space and time. So what I'm going to do here is that we're going to use an attack. So let's use, like, say, Horn Attack. Yeah, so we'll use Horn Attack, what we'd normally do here. I'm going to press Horn Attack. I'm going to hold B. If we get a text box that appears during any of this, the B press is going to go. So see how that B press immediately went as soon as that text box appeared? I held B the second that I pressed the attack. Holding B immediately clears that text box. Now, of course, once you press B, well then after that B press happens, you want to alternate to A again because B was the last button that you pressed. You go back to pressing A. So I press B to clear that, then I would press AA to get into that. Now I'm going to hold B again. I get another attack, that's fine. Sometimes when you don't get attacks, you can't press B, and therefore you can't buffer this A press during the battle, during the animations of everything. You just have to be prepared to press A again. But here, well, quick attack happened, I'm gonna press B, it immediately buffers that, so now I can hold A, the A hold immediately clears it, I can switch to B again, and now I switch to A because of that. So basically, you always want to be holding the button that is the opposite button that you just held. It will always buffer the next text box, so you really just want to be focused on that alternating of those two buttons. One thing that I should note about this is that in red bar with instant text, if you get red bar, everything is exactly the same. It just happens a lot faster. So it just happens a ton faster in that. So here, I'll just do a little bit more instant text to demonstrate, right? I'm holding B because that was the last button I pressed. I hold B into A. I can hold B here to clear this because I just pressed A, although I held it down a little weird, so that's fine. You always want to be holding down the button that you just had been holding down, right? You always want to, or, you know, the opposite button. You always want to be holding down that opposite button, and that opposite button will always be better for you. It'll always work out. So instant text menuing is very, very difficult to get the hang of, but I highly recommend practicing it. At the end here, one specific thing is that when this appears, when he appears, you really want to like let go of the B button from when he's appearing, like, or the A or B button. You want to let go of it a little early. Yeah, instant text is very hard. So yeah, so to reiterate about instant text is something that's very, very hard to get the hang of, but it comes down to just wanting to alternate between A and B, and it's something that takes a lot of practice. One of the pitfalls of instant text is that if you're trying to buffer and you mess up a buffer, if you're buffering and then immediately pressing down, it's very, very easy to accidentally open your item menu, and if you do that, then it's just game over. So this is something that I definitely highly recommend just, you know, practicing a lot and getting the hang of. For like, even these like Overworld text boxes I just mash through, typically I'm not good enough to get them buffered completely, but the in-battle stuff, holding B and holding A during the attacks is really important, especially when you're using a move like Thrash, where you have no text boxes. You can just alternate holding B, and then whenever a B press happens, you can just hold A and then have that happen, and it's really nice. That covers all the menuing techniques that I know. I think that's every single menuing technique that I know. So at this point, if you got into the end of this, thank you so much for watching. I hope that covered everything. If there's something that you can think of that is not covered in these videos that you think is important, please do let me know. I will absolutely make a follow-up to it if there's sort of enough things that I missed. My goal is to include absolutely everything that I know in these videos, so I'm hoping I didn't miss anything. If I did, then I will make another video after. Thank you all so much for watching this series. As a reminder, if you enjoyed this, please do like, comment if you have any questions or any concerns at all, or you just want to give any feedback. And subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content, because I like making this content. It's a lot of fun, and so it signals to me that there's demand for this type of content, right? So thank you all so much. I will see you all next time.